Welcome to Qualified Wrestle Hut. Today we're going to be diving into New Japan's Dominion, and for more wrestlers in skin-tight bodysuits, stay tuned. How'd you like that Sennedra skin-tight bodysuit?
That's hilarious.
So we're going to be going, obviously, from the main event backwards. That main event was Shingo Takagi was challenging Goto for the big title, the big IWGP Heavyweight Championship. This was a very long, grueling match.
Yeah. So
they really paced it out to a bit of like a slugfest early on. You know, I felt it was very Japanese strong style. Very stiff, and more stiff throughout for the most part. You had a boatload of clotheslines, headbutts, elbows, all that type of stuff. I was like, oh, this is a very grueling, exhausting match. I felt for both these guys.
Yeah, for sure. I saw there's like different paces.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you know, they pulled out all like the big moves from like the Goto Revolution.
Yeah, he pulled out like how many variations? Like 6 of them.
Yeah, and then Shingo's like, you know, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna do my own revolution.
Yeah, he's got his own revolution. He's pulling out, you know, the Burning Dragon and the Made in Japan and just everything. After everything, they're going back and forth. It felt like there was a lot of pulse pounding, close pinfalls and things like that. It was really getting close down to the wire there.
I like how Goto's like pushing himself like, you know, as like a 45-year-old geezer, you know. He's like up on the top rope, you know. He's doing the code reds, you know, stuff that he don't usually does, you know.
Yeah, he's pulling out all the stops. I really like his big move there, the big pendulum swinging move.
Shoten Kai.
I don't even know if that's what it is. You probably wrote something down that sort of seemed like that, but we're just doing our best with Japanese. But that thing is brilliant.
And then Goto goes hard with the GTR Kai for the finish. And then a cool call-up for Zack Sabre Jr. for the next.
Oh yeah, because they had that double pin thing or whatever, so that should be a pretty interesting match. But yeah, we probably should say that the Hiroki Goto did win ultimately. You know, we got to put that across, and then we're going into, I think this one might have been my favorite match of the night. It was probably pretty close to Keston, Bolt, and Oleg, but this one was a little longer, and you got a little more dramatics out of it between Yota Tsuji and Gabe Kidd. What I liked was both guys decided to take to the air right off the bat, or so right off the bat, you know, and testing out each other through the air a little bit.
But it drive a lot further than that. Up over the top, and Gabe Kidd throwing caution to the wind. Fair play. Not the only one to fly tonight.
And I know this match was going to be, you know, fairly stiff, and there were several times where they went fairly stiff with one another. Really tough elbows, kicks, knees that you could really hear, hard slaps. They were really slapping loud that you could really pick up on that one. There was some few really good back and forth moments. I felt back and forth sequences between Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji, kind of edge of their seat, nail biting, near finishes so many times. It was really hard to pick a winner with this one. I think this was probably the toughest for me to pick a winner.
I totally called a winner for this one actually. He had a funny moment where he's like doing a springboard and then he did like a senton, but then overshot it and then like whiffed completely. He's like, oh, I hurt my back, my head.
Somehow Tsuji hurt his neck falling over. I was like, I'm trying to figure out what exactly happened there.
That's funny, but then later on he kind of redeemed himself with the moonsault into a tombstone combo from the outside.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive from Gabe Kidd considering the size of him.
Yeah, so he shows some pretty good acrobatics for, like his size as you mentioned.
Oh yeah, so he's not just like a kind of meat and potatoes slugging it out. He's got a lot of explosive moves, a lot of dynamic stuff, really good on the ground, and some aerial ability to throw in there as well.
And I like how they kind of counter each other with like the spear into the knee, into like
Oh yeah, there were some really unique counters back and forth, and that was what I meant by like edge of your seat, nail biting. They kept countering so many different things that were leading to different pinfalls. It was like, what? Oh, that was the win? Nope, that was no. It was just kept going back and forth quite a bit in that. It was one of those pulse pounding matches. Ooh. Ooh. Now we're going on to, I was going to say a funny match because like all the clown guys came out of Evil's clown car. Oh, there was like 10 of them. I was like, holy crap. Like look at all these dudes that just joined like House of Torture, and now they're all around the ring for the dog collar match between Evil and David Finlay. But ultimately, like, it wasn't really humorous because it was so brutal, you know, beating each other in so many different ways with the chain, choking the crap out of, you know, each other. There was several moments where like we thought, like, how is David Finlay's neck not broken? Bad Luck Fale grabs the chain. You don't need 10 guys, you just need him, and they're like pulling on him, like, you're gonna decapitate him, you're gonna rip his head right off. Like, I'm like, what the hell, this is evil.
Yeah, it's funny, I see like 10 guys grab the chain, and then you see Fale. I can just imagine Fale like falling back, his head just go poop.
Just like pop bubbles, like, holy crap.
I like the get over here moment where like Evil finds out, falls out of the ring. Like, get over here, and pulls him inside, and then at one moment, I think the ref somehow got choked out, and then you just see all the clowns just entering one after the other, and then like into the War Dogs, you know, trying to fend them off, and there's too many clowns entering.
It was literally like 2 against 1, or I mean, yeah, 2 to 1 on the ratio there. So yeah, poor Marty Asami, I think, got choked up by the chain and just like fell out of the ring. They just pulled him out and they like threw him on the ground. He's like, oh crap.
And then that finish where they got him into the Scorpion Deathlock and the submission, he's like choking him, and then like after he passes out, I kind of like to see like the frustration like outside of like the War Dogs. I think you see like Connor like swear, he's like, God damn it, you know, like we're gonna avenge them, you know, later on. Like,
yeah, he gave him a 2-banger with that Scorpion Deathlock and with the chain around his shoulder so he could pull up on his head at the same time. So he's like folding him, he's like, oh, my spine. He's like, oh crap, that was pretty mean.
He's out cold, he's on a stretcher.
Yeah. Now we're moving on to another really good match. Boltin Oleg versus Konosuke Takeshita for the never open weight title, whatever that means. The never. But this match was really intense. There were so many different things because you had 2 really powerful guys with a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. They could do so many different things. Both dudes were really showcasing like immense power because they both had to like lift 2 heavy guys, especially Takeshita. Like Bolton's not a small guy, so doing like the Blue Thunder Bomb is pretty challenging for him. And same with the German suplexes and the deadlift German. So it's like, man, Takeshita's really showing out on his power. Both guys really showing out on their athleticism. He had some really intense strikes, which I thought Boltin finally really showed up. Usually Takeshita's the hard-hitting elbow guy, right, and knees. Bolton's not really that guy for the most part, but he kind of showed up with some of those in this match.
I like Takeshita's entrance, you know, like usually he comes out with this evil dark red coat. Yeah. And now he comes out, he's a white holy coat, he's converted, he's a good guy now.
He's a good guy in Japan, he's evil when he's hanging around Don Callis.
I like the one moment where like Takeshita went flying, all of a sudden he's like on Boltin Oleg's shoulder, and then you're like, what the hell, how the hell did he do that?
Yeah, I don't like, yeah, that was weird, like how he flew so far and somehow ended up on Bolton's shoulders. I was like, well, that was pretty interesting. And
then like later on, Boltin does like the shake and bake.
Yeah,
he's like
doing
the flip. It looked like it really hurt his back. He killed him, and then he's like, oh, my back. Kept favoring.
Yeah, like he killed. Yeah, he killed Takeshita with it because he tosses him and then he goes rolling down the ramp, which we got to highlight out. But for some reason, he's like holding his back up. It's like, oh,
he's a guy.
Wins his title though, uncrowns or undethrones Konosuke Takeshita with his long run, which I think is a historic run. I think he had the most title defenses of the never open weight title, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think the belt means you never defend it, you always lose it.
But Takeshita, he proved them wrong. He defended it quite a few times, somewhere around 6, so that was really impressive. Now we're moving on to, I thought this was kind of a fun match to a degree, just because Tomohiro Ishii was in it, my fat baby. But you got Ishii and Taichi versus Great Khan and Callum Newman for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag titles. One thing I really liked is I thought, Callum Newman really showed out. He had a lot of big moments and big spots in this, so I thought he delivered quite well. And I thought Great Khan pulled out something that I don't normally see, is a dive. He's like a plancha or whatever over the ropes. I was like, the hell, Great Khan's actually doing something like that.
I thought it was a funny moment where Great Khan like grabs his arms, and then like, what is he doing? And then you see the Newman comes in. Looks like he kicks him, but I think he's like kicked his arm, and then he falls over into the armbar. I thought that was an interesting tag team move.
Yeah, because it looked like he kicked his buddy.
And then Taichi had some cool moments. He's like throwing people on their heads on the suplex. I think he came in and there's a wicked super kick as well out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, he delivered some like super heavy super kicks there. They were loud and thunderous shots. I was like, well, these are pretty good.
Looked like the pin to Ishii, like he just kind of fell on somebody like during a pin to break up. He just like comes rolling in.
I think he used his head, kind of like Hanare does. He's like, oh, Hanare does this. I have a bigger head. I'll do it.
He also had a nasty brainbuster in there. He looked like he dropped, sheer drop, killed somebody.
He is pretty good at his nasty brainbusters. But Ishii and Taichi end up winning the titles, and Callum Newman and Great Khan, they didn't even defend it. Like they win it, but then they always lose. Like any tag variation in United Empire, they always do that. Well, I mean, like the heavyweight ones. Obviously, TJP and Francesco Akira do a little better. Speaking about like the IWGP Junior Tag titles, we're going on to Yo and Wato defending against Sho and his mystery partner, because Kanemaru's like, oh, my arm's hurt. It's not actually hurt, but he's. And then who's his mystery partner? A new House of Torture guy, Doki, returns. Ooh, the Okie Dokie. Which it'll be kind of disappointing if he doesn't do any of his cool moves anymore, because he's in House of Torture. Kind of like how Sho slowed down in Ren Narita, but it was kind of interesting to see him join. And for this match, it was mostly like cheating and weapon use, and they really worked the shit out of Master Wato. They like worked that guy over so hard, and in this match it was brutal.
I like Doki's new look. He looks really evil with like the face paints. It looked like something like he's like some sort of Frankenstein. Well, like when he got hurt, like they opened him up, they messed him up, they turned him evil, and now he's like all dark and sinister.
Opened his brain. Well, like I was saying, it's like he has that like weird face paint underneath that was like that folklore Japanese thing with the crazy lady and the mouth, and if you saw her, you were gonna die. It was like, cause something like that is under Doki's, but so he's wearing like Doki's face paint sort of. He's being happy, not happy, but
I think he had a new submission at the end, like. I don't know if they're gonna eliminate the Doki Choki. He's like, that one's too like happy and friendly.
Is it?
This crazy leg walk.
It's just because it sounds that way. It certainly doesn't feel that way. The way where he's strangling you, but it's definitely not happy.
That's funny. Doki like grabs the ref and like got a headlock, and then you got a dick-to-dick contact out of nowhere. Classic.
He was like guillotining the ref while he's he's learning the House of Torture ways pretty good right off the bat. Next, we're moving on to Zack Sabre Jr. and Reiwa versus El Phantasmo and Shota Umino. This one's kind of like I think they called it like a friendly tag match. They're not like they don't really hate each other. They're just like a competition match that was kind of thrown on here. But I thought it was overall pretty good. I think it could lead to, maybe something between Oiwa and Shota Umino mostly. Not necessarily Zack and ELP, because, ELP's doing the TV title and Zack's potentially going to facing Goto again, right?
Yeah,
so who knows what we'll see there. But I just thought there was a lot of like really good technical grappling from all four guys within the match. Very creative submissions and stuff within the match as well. Especially like on ELP, they were really stretching his limbs out pretty good. I think they had their feet against his head while pulling his arms. He's like, ah! That was pretty brutal.
I thought it was pretty impressive with Zack and Umino, where they just kept countering each other,
yes.
like pins and submissions and whatnot. And ultimately, I think Zack is a little bit more technical. He seems so natural, like, you know, he just twists something like that and then got submission, or he does something and then he got like a pen, and he's like all over the place.
It's almost like his body's doing things and his mind isn't even thinking it. It's just happening. He's just like, Shota's like, gotta think to counter, and Zack's just like, la la la.
I can figure Umino's like, what's going on? Where am I going?
He ends up pinning Zack, and he doesn't even know why he's pinning Zack, and that's all the moves, so Zack can move him into pinning him. And it's like, what the hell? You know, that's why he's the myriad magician of all these moves and submissions and pins. He's a madman.
Goto better watch out.
You want to talk a little bit about the first match was Bullet Club guys, you know, War Dogs, except, you know, Chase Owens had come back. So you got those four, you know, Ishimori and Clark and Drill on the one side. Then you got Sennedra, Ren Narita, and the damn Tokyo Pimp on the other side. But there's only three of them, right? And then all of a sudden, Bad Luck Fale comes out, and then Chase Owens is like, oh no, my big panda buddy, like, he's coming out, he's gonna beat us all up, you know. So you had right off the bat, you got some twists and turns of what's potentially going on tonight.
I love Sennedra. He's like hilarious, you know. Comes out with like a Giant Gonzalez suit. He's like, oh man, this guy's like larger than life, got big red boots, you know.
Goodness, it's elegante.
You never know what this guy's gonna do next.
He's got to find out ways to like look more and more ridiculous, except still be serious. His face is always serious, but he looks ridiculous.
I think like this is like House of Torture pay-per-view, like they kind of took him over.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I guess so.
All these like turns, like, you know, Fale turning, Chase Owens turning, like he's got army now, kind of, you know.
Donkey turning, yeah. And speaking of this match, it was a shorter one because Chase Owens turns and, you know, bags Drilla Maloney and tosses the guitar to Sennedra and lays out Drilla Maloney one more time, and, you know, then we got another, you know, House of Torture member. And you're right, it was 3 matches from House of Torture in there and 3 new members coming in. So yeah, I can see what you mean.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Again!
So let's see what we got this one rated or graded as. We got good, great, awesome, amazing, spectacular, and fantastic. Let's see where you got it.
I really enjoyed it, all the twists and turns. Like, I'm gonna give it a spectacular.
Oh, I want to go with amazing because I felt like a lot of the matches were, you know, good, and there was a few, you know, really high level ones in there. But I didn't, you know, I don't know why. Yeah, you gave it spectacular.
Yeah,
because you liked all the twists and turns. I guess.
I like House of Torture.
I liked Ishii, the fat baby. We're gonna do something on him. Anyways, those are our thoughts on Dominion. We got some cool highlights in there. Hope you enjoyed all that. And until next time, folks, how about some heavy wrestling?